Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. The female psychopath and the reptilian gaze. It's been thought that the female psychopath allures their victims and their targets initially through eye contact. And there's a term called reptilian gaze where the pupils of the eyes, instead of becoming open, become very small and piercing. And even without additional body language, it is thought that the female psychopath can really seduce their victim with a look, with a glance, with just, a basic flash of their eyes. And there is something that is detectable, I would say, in a female psychopath within their eyes, which you have to be careful when you see, because a lot of people feel somewhat entranced by them. They feel that there's something alluring about that person. I don't know quite what it is. When you feel you have hit on somebody who is so alluring, so charming, that you just feel like all of a sudden you hit on all cylinders, you are just like losing control as a man or as a woman, where you feel like there's something about this person. You just immediately sense it about them. I am a strongly empathic person, so I can pick up on other people's energies. I'm also highly intuitive, which means I have a lot of guttural instinct, which means that my vagus nerve, which goes along into my stomach, is very strong. I can feel people's energy. If they engage in certain habits, I can feel, pressure within my body, where they're clogging up or where their issues are, their self-abuse, self-sabotaging. I'm in tune with that. And I think you don't even have to be highly empathic or intuitive, such as myself, to really pick up on the energy and the reptilian gaze that surrounds the female psychopath, and how they really allure people in through their seduction. And when you really think about a lot of situations in life, that is not always a conducive energy. It is not always conducive to be, say, seduced by a doctor. That is not a good quality. Likewise, for example, a law enforcement operator, a bus driver. I mean, a lot of productive people in society, that's not really the energy that you want to be putting out there or putting off of yourself. And the female psychopath has a reptilian gaze where it's almost, you feel an immediate attraction, like a magnet to steel. Like all of a sudden you feel like a rush of energy that you want to be drawn to them. You feel an attraction. You feel a sexual uprising of energy in your body, a very strong sexual nature, a very strong sexual energy. And this, comes from very low, from beneath the base of the spine, and is like electric. I mean, it's a volatile, almost out of control, and very chaotic energy. Chaotic meaning it's not flowing up within the body and connecting through the heart, through the solar plexus. It's not like connecting all the way up through the voice, through your mind center, and coming out through your intellect and your mind and kind of your intuitive center. It's very kind of harsh, chaotic, stinging energy, I would say. And a lot of people are just overwhelmed by a female psychopath and immediately are under their sort of mind control. Likewise, if you've ever been around a male psychopath, they have kind of a bully feel about them. Oftentimes they have a lot of testosterone, very high in the testosterone level. Psychopaths who have been incarcerated, who have been studied more, because there's not really a lot of female psychopaths who have been incarcerated or in the judicial system in order to really do a lot of further brain scans and blood work and things of that nature. So the male equivalent, the male psychopath, generally has a lot of very strong upper body strength, very high in testosterone, very impulse control issues, very much, a lot of over-sexualization of their personality type. And likewise with the female psychopath, you will definitely notice that reptilian gaze where you just feel immediately locked in. And that is not conducive for a lot of reasons. For one, a lot of people are drawn and then they kind of like lose control around these people. Whether it's, laughter or whether it's being attracted just in general, they feel like they can't pull themselves off this person, because they're highly seductive, highly charged, highly sexualized, and, a lot of men might find this alluring, but yet a lot of men are extremely victimized, extremely victimized by this type of person. And if you were this type of man, you can leave a testimony and just, I testify. I mean, that's all you have to say, because men lose their homes, they lose their jobs, they lose their family, they lose their children, all to these psychopathic women who have undermined them, smeared their reputation, gone into their files, their documents, taken credit cards, emptied out bank accounts, brought in various other partners and people just to overwhelm, their office or their life. And especially the female psychopath, they can have a number of different sexual partners in one day, in 1 week. I mean, it's highly unhealthy as well in terms of like spreading sexual disease. Generally, a lot of women will be protective of themselves for the incidence of wanting to protect against sexually transmitted disease. These women really, could not care less and engage in very unhealthy sex practices. And so, I mean, it's just, you have a lot to lose, I think, when engaging with these types of people. I mean, that's entirely up to you, but you just have to be extremely cautious of that gaze and that immediate attraction where you feel an immediate charisma. Sometimes the charisma can be due to a talent or someone with a special abilities. You might find that around specific people. However, you have to be careful, especially if they're in high-powered positions, like musicians. If musicians that come to mind, I mean, the female musicians, are oftentimes, have a high incidence in that population of psychopathy, high on that checklist. Dr. Robert Hare, who's a preeminent psychologist who has first kind of looked into it and diagnosed and treated and identified really this subset of population. So it's a fairly new and kind of edgy area. In other industries you might find them in, high-level sales, high-level Wall Street trading, financial services, things of that nature, even your nurses, but I would think one general thing when you think about the reptilian stare, that piercing gaze where you feel, even if you're a child, you feel sexually attraction from them because they're just really emitting this. It's kind of, I've heard the psychopath describe it as it's oozing out all over them. That's a statement directly from a psychopath, if that makes any sense and helps you put two and two together. And just to be very careful, because generally these people are extremely cold. So in terms of having a warmth, a nurturing side, a caring side, you're not getting your southern comfort here. You're not getting your southern hospitality. You're not getting, your homemade dinner and barbecue and peach pie dessert with these people. I mean, it's, you're having monster Gatorade for breakfast with these people. You're not going to be eating well around these types of people. They're extremely, oftentimes, chemically dependent on different medications and pharmaceuticals and things, because a lot of women have trouble just keeping their mass together, and a lot of times they do have that emotional instability, more so than men, so they're more prone to actually seek out help for themselves. Because, you know, women in general will seek out the healthcare system more so than men. A lot of men do not want to admit, sorry about that jiggle there, a lot of men will not want to admit that, you know, they need help, or, you know, they have something going on health-wise that they want to go get examined. A lot of men just want to tough it out, and whereas women are more prone to utilize the healthcare system and actually get themselves checked out. But oftentimes it's for, you know, very selfish reasons. You know, they want to get right back onto the prowl versus like, I really want to take care of myself. In fact, they will manipulate various sundry Tylenols. What are some of those just over-the-counter type of stuff? You know, like the alert medicines that, you know, that keep you alert. You know, the 5-hour energy stuff, the monster drinks, the Rockstar drinks. A lot of psychopathic women will just drink this up like it's just water, and it just shows a blatant disrespect for their body in general, which is a very uncaring and unnurturing sort of activity. Yeah, we all like our Mountain Dew and our Dr. Pepper and things of that nature, but, you know, the psychopathic female tends to abuse just over-the-counter medications, Pepto-Bismol, Tums, taking medicines without looking at the directions, cold medicines, all that sort of thing really goes to be abused in a self-medicating fashion, especially in the female psychopath subpopulation. So if you notice that in a coworker, or a friend, or your spouse, and you feel kind of like, you know, they really misuse a lot of this over-the-counter stuff and this herbal stuff, and, you know, they just seem like they're really kind of taxing out their body, overdoing their physical boundaries. You know, a lot of these female psychopaths have a lot of energy, but they tend to really push things. You know, getting up really early, staying up really late, going out like on Sundays, you know, when most people would be trying to wind it down and like be with their families, they're like trying to crank it up. And, you know, they can be engaged in a lot of course, the obvious, you know, strip club sort of activities, your video porn, you know, selling sex toys. You know, a lot of them will sell sex toys. Just, you know, you'll be like at a business function, and then they'll be like, you know, oh, by the way, I also sell, you know, these sex toys. And you're like, are you kidding me? We're at a professional, you know, high power event, and you're bringing up sex toys here. This is out of place big time. You know, and so these people can act very out of place, and they don't feel like they're doing anything wrong. They specifically push the boundary, just again to have control and manipulate people, especially in that sort of piercing look to them. Not very soulful. And I've had a lot of people say that the eyes of psychopathic female appear black. So you can be the judge yourself if you've encountered a female psychopath and see if that rings true for you. But I hope this video helps you kind of put things into place and helps explain some things for you, so you can better understand if you've been victimized, that these are some of the telltale signs, and to just be on the alert for this type of people so as you're not a victim to their scandalous behavior. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos help. Please do share, please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussions, and support.